Doesn't that look groovy? Right. Just want to clear something up here real quick for people that maybe don't know any better. Y'all see that alright? Probably not. Probably. Who knows? Ooh. Creepy. Shakara doodle-doodle, ba-ding-a-dang-ding-ding-a-dang-doo. Where are we? Come on. Alright. So, you know, everyone says, ooh, that's a terrible picture. Look at that. Everyone says that the Rothschilds and the royal families and so forth are inbred. That's not entirely true. You see, the Rothschild come from a bloodline, apparently, who are the direct descendants of Rothschild. You know, the so-called sun god Ra, which would make his child, the son of Ra, Rothschild, a demigod. Or an Nephilim, I suppose. Supposedly from the bloodline of fallen angels. Which means that they're in the league of Satan. Excuse me. Luciferians. That would make them Luciferians. So, in saying that, what they do is there are certain selected bloodlines who are extended family, like the Rockefellers and the Walton family, and whoever the Windsors really are. This fella here and his family, okay, turn back for a sec. I'll put this in a way that a lot of Australians, especially South Australians, will understand. You know, when you look at go and have a look at the Adelaide Melways street map, and you have what they call royalty streets, okay? You'll have, say, crikey, I can't remember that I used to live there. I'd say King James Street and King Henry Street and right, Lord Phillip Street or whatever, all the royalty streets. And they are priority roads that run from one end right to the other. Priority, yeah, priority of way. Then we're doing a hop, skip and a jump. What? Yeah. And anyway, turn 90 degrees. Now you have peasant streets, and a peasant had to stop to allow a royal, to go on their path. He wasn't allowed to cross in front of the path of a royal. That was the law, apparently. And that was their law, because a peasant pretty much might have had an ass or a mule or a donkey with a little cart with maybe some hay or something, or they were probably just walking. Whereas the royalty would have their six draft horse drawn carriage. They don't just pull up on a dime, you know. Kind of like comparing one of today's cars and their stopping prowess compared to an E.H. Holden. But a peasant had to stop to allow a royal to go past. Also for the fact of a royal could also mean it was a royal guard escort of a carriage full of gold or money or a princess or some member of the family or a child from a chosen bloodline that had been sold. I'm coming to that, which is why they're not necessarily inbred. They're finding it harder, and they found it harder and harder and harder to keep this up, and that's why there are a lot of inbreds now that are hidden away. There was a period where there was a lot of inbreds, and they got away from it. How did they get away from it? Every so often, They'd find ways where they'll find someone, say like, I don't know, Princess Diana. Classic example, Princess Diana, a chosen bloodline with royal royal affiliation that was just distance enough to be able to have William and Harry without them coming out all fucking mongered. With me? Do you really think that William and Harry are full brothers? Nah, half brothers. There's another father in there somewhere. That's why Harry's always been the black sheep of the family, the red sheep of the family. Okay? What they will do, for example, there was someone on Nuggets News the other night, and there will be a certain bloodline of person that has affiliates to the royal family who will be sold at, say, the age of 9 to 11 years old to someone, say, like David de Rockefeller or Evelyn de Rothschild, or, okay? But one will buy it and then gift it to the other. A Rockefeller will gift a child to the Rothschilds and vice versa. Okay? Tracking? Tracking. Once that child is old enough, say 16, 17 or so, if it is desirable and it has been raised well enough to have the etiquette, and it is desirable in the sense that they will make an outstanding mother for the offspring to raise that child in the path in which they want it to go, not the right path, the path that they want it to go, in order to keep the power in the bloodline of the family, the authority over the world, dominion, the unrighteous dominion over the world. This is how this works. So that child, at a certain age, old enough to bear children, turns into a baby factory. Not all those babies survive. Only the right ones. Some of them end up in orphanages. And then what happens? They keep an eye on the life path of that orphan, where it goes, who it marries, who it has children to. A couple of generations down the track, bam, another child gets sold back into the family. Or stolen. It's how they keep the bloodline, the so-called pure bloodline, or the lizard people as they call them. Don't believe me? Ask the Simpsons, and Montgomery Burns here. That's who Montgomery Burns was. That's a Rothschild. That's Lord Rothschild. That's who Montgomery Burns was fashioned from. That's who Montgomery Burns is. Like I say, if you don't believe me, ask Montgomery Burns. But yeah, that's common known fact. If you look at the Adelaide Millways and have a look at the city millways, the street map, and they're all royal streets, one end to the other, and peasant streets. As soon as you cross the royal street, the name of the street changes. A peasant street from this end of the block to that end of the block. And as soon as you cross over the royal street, the name changes. A peasant couldn't cross in front of a royal. Quite often they'd have to stop, hand their goods to somebody else, and they would take it to the next road. It stopped bandits. It was to stop bandits and stagecoach robberies, and also as a kind of like a bit of a Jedi mind trick to remind people that we are the royals, you are the peasants. That's how that works. And it's still working well today, isn't it? Been working for thousands of years. But bye for now. God bless.